not sure if we're ready. Matt, are we ready? Okay. Okay. Good evening. My name is Michael Snow, and I am here on behalf of Wheat Ridge United Neighborhoods. You are watching the 2015 Wheat Ridge Election Forum. I appreciate you all being here. There's a number of you here in the audience, as well as viewers who are at home watching this on the Government Access Channel 8. This is live broadcast. So hopefully you will get some good information from our candidates, and you'll hear from proponents and opponents on all ballot issues that will appear on Wheat Ridge citizens' ballots this November 3rd. So welcome, and without any further ado, we're going to get right into the program tonight. I'm going to introduce a couple people first, and then tell you about which races you'll hear about first, and a little bit of the ground rules. First off, I want to introduce Leah Dozman, who is my co-moderator tonight. We'll be changing off throughout the night and taking turns, giving our voice a little bit of a rest. And also with us as well is Tom Slattery. Tom Slattery, once we get things rolling, is going to give the ground rules for how we conduct our forum this evening. So we'll get moving right away. Leah?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Leah Dozman, and I am honored to be helping out with the Wheat Ridge United Neighborhoods Forum this year. I would like to give a special thanks to Nancy Snow and Thomas Slattery. They have worked very hard for several years to put this on. And I am going to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you would all stand and face the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now I'm going to introduce Thomas Slattery, who will be giving you all of the rules for this evening's program. Thank you.
Good evening. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to speak. Each speaker on behalf of an issue will have 3 minutes. Now, if two people want to share the podium, they will have to split the 3 minutes between them, because it will be 3 minutes per each side of each issue. There are 3 lights on the podium here. As long as you're in the clear, the light is green. When you have 30 seconds to go, the light will turn amber, and then you must wrap up, because when the light turns red, you get the hook. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. A couple other things. For those of you that are speaking tonight, you'll notice that I am standing here with my belly right to the podium and my mouth right up to the microphone. If you want to sound good to everybody tonight, you'll want to do the same. If I step to here, it's not very good, and people cannot hear you as well. So just belly straight up. And as you're getting ready to speak, please come and sit in these very front rows, because we change out very fast. We are well known for running a very tight schedule in this forum. When we tell you you're speaking on a certain time, you really do. And if you're missing, you lose out. So you have just a few minutes. So please be ready. Without further ado, we're going to jump straight into our first race, and this is for the Wheat Ridge races. We're going to hear from each of the council races. First off is District 1, and we'll first hear from Bud Starker, who is the incumbent. Bud?
Good evening, and thank you to the Wheat Ridge United Neighborhoods for hosting this election forum. My name is Bud Starker, and I'm a candidate for City Council in District 1. A little bit about myself. My father was an Air Force officer. My mother was a nurse. I spent my early childhood in the Deep South, the East Coast, Germany, and I graduated from high school in Tehran, Iran. I received a bachelor's degree in political science from the University of Colorado at Boulder. During college, I worked summers as a carpenter's apprentice and continued the trade after graduation. I was fortunate enough to work for a company that valued not only my technical skills, but also my leadership abilities, and promoted me into the office to learn the business end of the construction business. In the early 1980s, I opened my own construction company, which is still in operation today. We build commercial projects throughout Colorado. 40 years ago, we moved to our present home in southeastern Wheat Ridge, bringing with us a dozen chickens, a goat, a goose and a gander, a dog, and a love for the rural traditions that enrich our community. My wife and I have raised our two sons in Jefferson County Public Schools, seen them through local universities, and launched them into their own careers. This community has been good to us, and we feel a desire to give back in return. My work on City Council has been dedicated to providing an open, thoughtful, collaborative decision-making process. In my very first weeks, we disbanded the pre-council meetings perceived as closed-door sessions, opened council study sessions to citizen input, and began televising study sessions on Channel 8. I have been an advocate for senior citizens working to strengthen the Seniors Resource Center while preserving a valuable historic building, promoting our naturally occurring retirement communities, NORC for short, to develop ways for seniors to age naturally in their own homes. I have been actively engaged with Jefferson County Public Health to write grants promoting healthy eating and active living in Wheat Ridge, to eliminate food deserts and provide greater access to fresh fruits and vegetables. I have worked with our police department to develop community pride programs, providing free dumpsters for citizens to clean up their neighborhoods and work together to decrease crime. As a knowledgeable builder, I have worked closely with our Parks Department and Public Works Department to maintain and enhance parks and public infrastructure for our safety and civic pride. I have been an advocate for a sensible approach in developing bicycle and walking in the environment. The issues we face on City Council are varied and numerous. I don't have all the answers, but I do show up at every meeting, having studied the issues, read the material, talked with citizens, and respectfully open for discussion. Our city faces great challenges, but greater opportunities. We owe it to both those who came before us and those who will come after us to come together as a community to do the very best we can. I thank you for this opportunity and would appreciate your vote in this election. Thank you.
Okay, there's no awards, but he ended exactly on 3 minutes. That was good. The challenger in District 1 is Monica Duran. Monica?
Thank you. I'm Monica Duran, and I'm running for City Council in District 1. Proven leadership. What exactly does this mean? For some, it means that being an elected official automatically makes someone a leader. I challenge that idea. Leadership is not about simply attaining something. Leadership is about what is done with that opportunity and about one's skill in bringing groups together for a common goal. The number one concern of citizens in Wheat Ridge is that their voices are not being heard by their city council representatives. The city recently conducted a citizen survey, and the subject of encouraging citizen participation, with 1 being the best score and 23 being the worst, Wheat Ridge ranked 21. With 1 being the best score, in the area of public information services, with 1 being the best score, 12 being the worst, Wheat Ridge ranked 11. The survey confirms what we have known for quite some time. Our citizens feel alienated. Why? Disregarding the will of the people, my opponent, along with council majority, supported spending $9.3 million on 8 blocks of 38th Avenue. He also supported giving $6.25 million plus interest to a developer on 38th and Wadsworth. My opponent's campaign flyer speaks about his business history, community involvement, and a list of committee memberships. How does that justify giving away millions of our hard-earned tax dollars to high-powered developers? We can't afford any more experiments that are wrong for Wheat Ridge, wrong for our citizens, and wrong for our future. I worked hard to defeat the $9.3 million risk on 38th Avenue and to put TIF reform questions on this year's ballot. I did this by walking house to house with supporters, volunteers, and concerned citizens. In speaking with citizens, I hear that they want a council member who will represent them. They want a good listener, someone who will return phone calls and emails and take their concerns to council. My support has not come from my professional background or my fancy title. Instead, it has come from working with and for the residents of Wheat Ridge. In addition to my work on defeating the 38th Avenue ballot measure and putting TIF reform on the ballot, I serve on the Wheat Ridge Fire District Board and the Foundation Board for Jefferson Center for Mental Health. As your representative, I will always support a fiscally responsible approach to redevelopment. I will advocate for strong and safe neighborhoods and support balanced budget that spends tax dollars on projects and services that benefit the entire community. This November, you have 2 choices. Business as usual, with reckless financial ventures being rubber stamped by City Council without your input, or someone who has demonstrated true leadership. a candidate who listens to what you have to say, who has fought for you. This candidate is me. It's Monica Duran. I humbly ask for your vote this November and to vote yes on ballot question 300, TIF reform. Thank you.
Thank you, Bud and Monica. So next, we'll hear from the candidates for City Council District 2. First off, we'll hear from the incumbent, Christy Davis. Christy?
Thank you. My name is Christy Davis. I'm a fifth-generation Wheat Ridge native. My family was one of the first original farmers in the city of Wheat Ridge and involved in the city for many years. I chose to run for city council 4 years ago as I wanted to carry on the tradition, and I felt it was my civic responsibility to give back to our city. I was honored to be elected and to represent our city. My education includes 2 bachelor's degrees, one in biology and one in chemistry, and 2 master's degrees, one in business administration and one in health administration. I feel my education and my work experience provides a foundation for success for our city. I have the knowledge and experience to review and manage budgets, review contracts, and communicate in a positive, respectful manner. Over the past few years, I've done my best to represent and help the citizens of Wheat Ridge. Your calls and emails have always been welcomed and answered. Several accomplishments that I can directly contribute to my leadership on council include the reinstituted neighborhood traffic calming programs, the reinstituted district meetings to provide more face-to-face communication with our neighbors, development of the accessibility grant, which allows businesses to meet the ADA requirements for the handicapped, also being involved in our school systems with fundraisers and also in the classroom. I've also been on Renewal Wheat Ridge and the development of the Sprouts Project and the Wheat Ridge Town Center Senior Housing. I respect the heritage of our city, and I hope to move forward so that we are competitive with the community surrounding us, drawing in new business, new families, and neighbors. No, I don't want to change our city to something else, but I want to strengthen our city, and both physically as well as from an infrastructure perspective. Areas that I want to focus on over the next 4 years include improving 38th Avenue, the flow of traffic, the walkability, and also supporting the businesses, communication with our neighbors and community, new business development and support to our current businesses, and also fiscal responsibility, both in generating taxes and also the mindful spending of taxes. In summary, I'm a longtime Wheat Ridge resident born at Lutheran Medical Center. I plan to retire in Wheat Ridge eventually. As I have been walking and talking to our committee, you all know that I am not a career politician, but a neighbor. A neighbor who wants to work with our city and our neighbors and businesses to keep Wheat Ridge the great place that I can call home all my life. As a part of my campaign, as a role as city council person, my promise to you is not to be negative and attack others, but to run for office and perform council as a person on my own merits, my own actions, and education and work ethic. To face problems with solutions, solicit feedback, and work on compromise rather than blame. Thank you, and I appreciate your vote this year at the November 3rd election.
Thank you, Christy. And the challenger for the District 2 City Council seat is Vivian Voss. Vivian?
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me this time to tell you why to vote Voss District 2. I have been asked, why do I concern myself with all the issues in this city? Well, I have witnessed what you have witnessed, and you probably say to yourself, somebody should do something about this. And so vote Voss and let me be your somebody. Right outside the doors in the foyer on the wall, it says, people create the quality of government through participation or neglect. 10 years ago, I became involved in property rights issues, and our group helped win a local issue. For 2 years, I have been attending meetings about the Denver I-70 expansion and will continue to attend meetings as I believe this expansion could affect Wheat Ridge issue in the future. For 2 years, I have also been attending City Council, study sessions, urban renewal, and planning meetings. I have attended a lot of community information meetings. So even though I have not the experience on council that my opponent has and have not held an elected office, I have been ringing doorbells in District 2. And let me tell you this, I have found 99% of the houses have dogs. As soon as I ring that doorbell, dogs come running, barking. Some I can see are happily wagging their tails. And then here comes a citizen who is to tell me their concerns, such as smoking bans, controlled traffic, more parks, overpasses, sidewalks, more pool time, snow removal, and the big three, 38th Avenue, 38th and Wadsworth Development, and money being spent. My opponent voted yes on these 3 issues. My opponent has not honored your vote, and if you want them resolved, then vote Voss. I want to bring transparency, purpose, enthusiasm, perseverance, common sense, and be the person honoring the goals of the citizens. I would like to see put in place a community of citizens who work with the city to bring all the good we can through compromise, knowledge of history, and caring. I have found this city has a great group of people who are well informed and care about this city. The Citizen Survey of 2015 shows their concerns. So if you believe as I do and want the same, then vote Voss. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Again, I am Leah Dozman, and I am co-moderating this evening. We are going to move on to our City Council District 3 candidates. We are going to start with the incumbent, George Pond.
Thank you. So I tested this in front of my 6-year-old and my 7-year-old. I had to kick them out of the room, so I'm hoping this is going to go a little bit better than that. I'm sometimes asked, why do you do this? And every once in a while, I think that the person who's asking that has genuine concern for my well-being. You know, and levity aside, the serious core of that is the question, the answer, is my belief that to be truly involved in my community takes my heart and soul. And that's what I give. Wheat Ridge had a vision before I showed up and before I became involved. In short form, we're a unique place and we want to be great. I bought that. I buy that, and I'm committed to that still. And I think one of the great qualities of Wheat Ridge is that it's a place that we can all get involved, many different levels. Long ago, I chose to get involved in service. I've served on the Parks and Rec Commission, I've served on the Planning Commission, and I've served for 4 years as City Councilman in District 3. And I think service is about giving of yourself. Yes, long ago, I came with a lot of ideas and some opinions, but service is about other people, and I've learned, and I've matured, and becoming an active listener is perhaps one example. Being patient enough to really listen and careful enough to understand what I'm hearing is something that I've learned. I think there's one other quality that's important in this context, and it's leadership. I've had great opportunities in my life to learn from great leaders, and I've had opportunities to be a leader myself. In my job as the Senior Vice President for Design and Campus Management at Denver Zoo, I lead over 65 people in creating and building a vision of the zoo. In fact, right now we're building a very cool tiger exhibit. On council, I'm one of 8, representing many, and I have effectively led policy decisions on behalf of my district. I think the revisions to the marijuana ordinance are a good example of that. And by the way, I don't know what's harder, tiger or pot shops, but you have to be careful with both. So leadership takes strong ability, inspiration, passion, and maybe most importantly, a willingness to stand in front and be responsible for and to collect the energy, ideas, the vision of a group of people and be able to move that forward. I do that by training, by experience, and by nature. So taking these together, service leadership, I think requires many of these qualities in concert. But as I think of my experience on council, the one that stands out perhaps is balance. The need to balance my ideas for those of others, the need to balance multiple sides of an issue, They need to balance present issues with future needs. I believe I've demonstrated this kind of balance. I hear another thing as I meet people. I love Wheat Ridge, they say, and so do I. And that's why I do this.
Thank you, George. Now we will hear from the District 3 challenger, Thomas Lundy. Tom?
Good evening. My name is Thomas Lundy. I'm running for District 3 and for Wheat Ridge City Council. My history in Wheat Ridge is quite long. My family moved here in 1962. My wife Victoria and I have lived at our current address at 35th and Allison Street for 20 years. I'm a small business owner. Victoria and I have been operating Cuttlefish Arts, a print and web design company, for the last 19 years. I hold a PhD in mathematics, and I'm an active independent researcher. My goal for running for office is to create a more open and responsive government for the city of Wheat Ridge. We need a government that respects the voices, aspirations, and expertise of citizens. A government that encourages the basic right of citizens to exercise oversight over city activities and expenses. I am proud to say that I worked as part of the true grassroots effort to place Question 300 before the voters this election. If elected to City Council, I will promote, first, a policy of working on behalf of the citizens opposed to imposing unwanted schemes and solutions. It is the duty of elected officials to include the citizens in important decision-making processes. Second, respect for the knowledge, expertise, and rights of the citizens of Wheat Ridge. Third, transparency in city government, openness in how decisions are reached, and adherence to procedures. A closed system and a lack of oversight can lead to cronyism and corruption. Fourth, better control and evaluation of the activities of city staff. Fifth, a more thorough reporting of city activities and expenditures. Sixth, an immediate initiative to update Wheat Ridge's comprehensive planning documents. The current documents do not reflect the economic or demographic realities of 2015 and fall farther behind with each passing day. And finally, a more innovative and imaginative approach to the future of Wheat Ridge with an eye to sustainable and meaningful growth. I will work to create new opportunities for the city and its citizens while respecting established Wheat Ridge businesses. I encourage you to visit my website, thomasjameslundy4wheatridge.com, or my Facebook group, Thomas James Lundy for Wheat Ridge, for updates or to contact me directly. I will be walking District 3 up to Election Day. I want to talk with you during this election season. With your support, we can move forward together. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. If we could just remind speakers to move back after you've spoken so that anyone that's going to come up next can take the front rows. Now we will hear from City Council District 4. It's an open seat, so there is no incumbent. Janet Leo is the candidate, but she is unable to attend tonight, so speaking on her behalf will be Genevieve Wooden. Genevieve?
Thank you. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of Janet Leo, who was unable to be here tonight due to a prior out-of-state family commitment. I am reading items written by Janet herself. Janet says, I am running for District Seat 4. I have been a resident of Wheat Ridge for 31 years. I chose Wheat Ridge as my home when I moved to Colorado in 1987 because of the unique character it provides within a large metropolitan area. I have a bachelor's degree in geography from Temple University in Philadelphia and a master's degree in city and regional planning from the University of Denver. I have a paralegal certificate from the Denver Paralegal Institute and also a mediation certificate from Arapahoe Community College. I have been a member of Renewal Wheat Ridge for over 10 years and participated in the Kipling Ridge redevelopment at 38th and Kipling and the ongoing affordable senior housing apartments at 44th and Wadsworth. I currently work as a paralegal for a large family law firm in Denver and previously was a clerk for the family court system for 3 years. I also volunteered as a mediator for the Jefferson County Mediation Services. I was an intern for Colorado Department of Transportation and have also spent 12 years working as a regional planner for the Denver Regional Council of Governments. If elected to council, I would work to keep communication open to address everyday concerns with constituents in the city while working with staff, developers, and business owners to address redevelopment problem sites in the city. We need to find ways to best utilize taxpayer dollars while considering long-term benefits. My priorities are to maintain the character and rural atmosphere of Wheat Ridge while working to ensure the stability of existing businesses and to attract new ones. To thoughtfully make decisions that will encourage and attract new residents and businesses while supporting the needs of our current ones. To encourage citizen involvement and listen to their ideas and concerns when considering all projects and redevelopment projects. To support the need for reliable and updated infrastructure to ensure all residents are safe and secure in their homes while traveling and within the city. I am visionary, democratic, and I participate in the city. I have the background in education and planning and development and many years of service to Wheat Ridge. Please vote for Janet Leo in District 4.
Now we will hear from District 4 candidate Larry Matthews.
Good evening. I am Larry Matthews, and I would like to thank the Wheat Ridge United Neighbors for letting me introduce myself to you this evening. I look forward to having the opportunity to serve as the next council representative for District 4. I married into the Wheat Ridge family 46 years ago. My wife is a native, and over the years has given me valuable insight into the traditional Wheat Ridge sense of home, family value, and history. 3 generations of our family attended Wheat Ridge High School. I have a vested interest in preserving the lifestyle that makes Wheat Ridge a desirable place to call home and raise a family. Before I retired, I was a vice president for a large highway contractor and have a thorough understanding of budget processes and responsible fiscal policy. My career in highway construction also gave me a deep appreciation for common sense solutions to complicated problems. We cannot preserve the current high quality of life in our city if we bow to the special interest groups that want to clog our city arteries with high-density housing. Our city forefathers had the vision to lay out spacious lots and restrict building heights in order to preserve the country atmosphere and mountain vistas that have attracted so many people to our city for many years. I also believe in full disclosure to all voters on how the city conducts its business. We must keep the voters well informed and then listen to their voices. Believe it or not, being elected to a city council does not automatically make one smarter than the voters. On several occasions, the voters explicitly expressed their wishes on the development of 38th Avenue. 72% of you specifically rejected the so-called road diet and requested that we maintain at least 4 lanes of traffic. Despite your wishes, the city is spending yet another $100,000 to try to convince you that the 2-lane conversion should stay in place. How many times must the citizens vote on this issue before the council takes heed? We need to limit the corporate welfare inherent in the TIF system of urban development that has been popular for several years. I urge you to vote yes on TIF reform and resist the arguments from outside developers who regard TIF money as their own private slush fund. Please feel free to contact me at any time, and I am especially interested in hearing from you on the issues that directly involve District 4, such as the new light rail transit and floodplain changes. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. So now that we've concluded the city council races, we are going to move on to the city treasurer race. We have 2 challengers. The first tonight is Jerry DiTullio. Jerry?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jerry DiTullio. I'm a candidate for city treasurer. The duties of the treasurer, per the city charter in summary, are as follows. A, it shall be the treasurer's responsibility to establish a system of accounting and auditing for the city which shall reflect the financial condition and operation of the city. B, the treasurer shall be the custodian of the public monies belonging to and under the control of the city, and shall deposit or invest all monies as directed by city council. C, the treasurer shall collect, receive, and disperse on proper authorization all monies receivable by the city and all other monies for which the city is responsible for holding in trust. D, the treasurer shall supervise the staff under his or her jurisdiction. I added a her, it's an old charter. E, the treasurer shall perform all other duties as may be required by ordinance or law. So my education and my 20 years of public policy and public and private budget experience qualifies me as the best candidate for treasurer. I have an MBA from Regis University and have owned and operated 2 businesses in the city of Wheat Ridge, a software development company and a small coffee shop. I have worked in information technology as a business banker and as an investment advisor for Vector Bank Colorado and Community Banks of Colorado over in North Denver. I am currently a licensed teacher at Wheat Ridge High School in special education, and I'm also attending Regis University to acquire my principal licensure by July of this year. My goals as your next treasurer is to follow the city charter, to improve the transparency, and to improve the reporting out to the public and city council with regards to taxpayer dollars and the budget. I will continue to work with the investment committee that's been created, and I do support the new public online budget reporting system that is being investigated by the city as we speak. If you want better, then this is the best we can do. I respectfully ask for your vote this election. Please visit my website at jerrydetulio.com and have a good dinner. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. And the second challenger for the city treasurer position is Tracy Langworthy. Tracy?
You can't walk with the readers because then you fall. So, hello, my name is Tracy Langworthy, and I'm running for Wheat Ridge City Treasurer. First of all, I'd like to give a quick thank you to the Wheat Ridge United Neighbors for putting this event on, because it's a nice way for all of us to get our information out to you all. I am running for the treasurer position because I believe that an individual with an accounting or finance background should fill this role. Numbers are not everyone's forte, and many people run when faced with their tax return. I ran head into that. I'm an enrolled agent, which may not mean a lot to many of you, but if you ever get a call from the IRS, you want one of us. I believe that my education and work experience make me the best candidate for this position. I have received my bachelor's degree in accounting at Metro State with an emphasis on government accounting and auditing. I also have spent the majority of my career in an accounting industry. Spent 7 years recently with a geologist, working not with just US GAAP standards, but with Canadian standards, so crossing over and learning a lot more about how the world works with finances beyond just what we do in the US. I worked for a nonprofit, so I have had the experience of managing grants. How do you get it? How do you spend it? What are the rules that you have to follow to ensure that they don't take the money away from you? I'm also not afraid of numbers. In fact, I enjoy reading financials and look for discrepancies and trends within the numbers on purpose. During my tenure as a council member, I've always read the full audited financials of the city and have asked questions regarding the auditor's requested changes. I enjoy that. I don't know that most people do, but I truly enjoy looking at the numbers that get computed from expenses and revenues throughout the city. I have been a member of the Wheat Ridge City Council for 8 years, and I've enjoyed my time serving my citizens. I've always been conscious of the impact of the money we're being asked to spend and what future impact that could have. Those involved in the decision-making and management of the city's money should be cognizant of not just the money in the accounts, but how future expenses can possibly impact them. When elected, I would do my best to work towards financial transparency through the use of a software program that would help citizens see where their money is going. I would also work diligently towards keeping the city funds in safe investments. I've also been a treasurer of 2 nonprofits. One is the Wheat Ridge Kite Flight Festival, which I was a co-founder with Margie Seifer, and also with the Wheat Ridge Optimist. I've enjoyed my time serving nonprofits in a manner that most people don't want to do, so I really appreciate what you can give to your community in even small roles. I continue to volunteer in my community, and I believe it's the citizens that will make our city a better place. So I ask that you vote for me on November 3rd. Thank you. That goes fast.
Thank you, Tracy. So that let's see, that concludes the race for city treasurer. The last of the City of Wheat Ridge races is for the clerk, and we have one candidate, and that is our current incumbent, Janelle Shaver. Janelle?
Thank you, Michael. Good evening. I'm Janelle Shaver. I've had the honor and privilege of serving as your city clerk for the last 4 years. I've really enjoyed working with citizens again, and I'm looking forward to the next 4 years. As I promised, I did attend the Colorado Municipal League's Colorado Municipal Clerks Association's Institute for 3 summers. I completed that program, and I really learned a lot. I also am involved in continuing education. I have a good working relationship with our deputy clerk. I'm comfortable about the way the city clerk's office is running right now, and I want you to know that I still think like a taxpayer. As a clerk, I want to encourage you to all get out and vote. Let your voice be heard. We have an amazing community. It really is special. As my husband and I take a lot of road trips all over the country, and Wheat Ridge really is special. And one of the different things about Wheat Ridge, as you know, is that we have an elected clerk. And I wanted to say just a couple words about that. There are a lot of advantages to having an elected clerk. Number one, you're my boss. I answer to you. Besides the state statutes and the code and the charter, I answer to you. I can talk to citizens. Citizens can come talk to me anytime about anything. I'm not a council member. I can't affect policy, but I believe in transparency and information, and if you need information, I'll try to help you get it. I also have the ear and the mayor of city council. An appointed clerk would not have that relationship. And I also don't think our city's big enough to need a full-time clerk and a full-time deputy clerk. The arrangement we have now is plenty adequate to provide the services that we do for the city, and it's financially responsible. So I'll just leave you with those thoughts and just tell you that this Wheat Ridge really is a special place. We don't have to be a cookie cutter. We can be different when we can be proud of being different. So be sure to get out and vote and let your voice be heard. Thanks.
Thank you, Janelle. So that concludes the City of Wheat Ridge races. We will now move on to the second portion of this first half of the program. You'll hear from proponents and opponents from 3 ballot issues that you will all find on your ballots this November. The first of those is a City of Wheat Ridge ballot initiative that was initiated by citizens, and that is ballot issue 300, titled Limits on Tax Increment Financing, otherwise known as TIFs. And the proponent speaking in favor is Tamara Phelan. Tamara?
Just wanted to confirm. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tom. Good evening. My name is Tamara Phelan, and I'm speaking as a member of Citizens for an Inclusive Wheat Ridge in support of ballot issue 300. Members of grassroots citizens groups worked hard to put this tax increment financing, or TIF, reform measure on our city ballot. We thank our fellow citizens for their support and ask you to vote yes to amend our city charter this November. Here's why. Members of Wheat Ridge City Council have failed to listen to our concerns and what citizens want in terms of development, especially the corner of 38th and Wadsworth. Limiting their power to grant TIFs means City Council and developers who wish to do business with our city will have to be transparent and accountable to Wheat Ridge citizens. We want smart and sustainable development. We'll approve TIFs for projects if they add value to our community, not added costs. We'll welcome developers who can show us that a requested TIF will provide a good return on investment of our tax dollars. We'll back projects that provide needed jobs with good wages and benefits, as well as increased tax revenues.
We'll support projects that complement existing Wheat Ridge businesses, not cannibalize them. We support free enterprise based on market demands, not government-sponsored handouts to corporations. You'll hear a lot of horror stories from the opposition, how no one will want to do business in the city. Don't believe them. And don't forget the opposition is funded by outside interests and big corporate money. We believe that developers are and will be interested in Wheat Ridge. Smart developers who invest in our city because they will make money here. Developers looking for the biggest subsidy for outdated designs and housing the same old retailers will have to go elsewhere. TIF reform is happening here and elsewhere in the country because it is needed. Did you know that once a TIF is paid off, tax dollars continue to be collected for the full term of the agreement? The term of the recently approved TIF in Wheat Ridge is 25 years. Collected tax dollars go to the Urban Renewal Authority, an unelected body whose members get to decide how to spend your money. According to the Colorado Property Rights Coalition, there were almost $150 million in collected TIFs in Jefferson County in 2010. These dollars don't go to schools, libraries, or other public services. Additional taxes are requested for needed services. Think about the upcoming library mill levy on the November ballot. Developers have worked with governments, gradually distorting urban renewal laws from their original intent. While the 38th and Wadsworth Corner may fit the definition of blight under current law, urban renewal was meant to improve rundown residential areas. Now commercial areas and vacant land is designated as blighted so developers can receive billions in subsidies. Citizens who don't want to give a developer $6.25 million plus interest for a total of $11 million will vote yes on 300. Citizens who trust that developers see Wheat Ridge as the jewel it is and who will not be deterred by TIF reform will vote yes on 300. Citizens have seen many small businesses open in Wheat Ridge over the past couple of years with no TIF monies. Citizens know the downturn in the economy is over and Wheat Ridge is ready for new and exciting businesses. Citizens who want a say in their city's future will vote yes on 300. Join me in voting yes on ballot issue 300, supporting TIF reform in Wheat Ridge. Thank you.
I may not have said this before, it's awkward, but if I could ask you all to withhold your applause as much as you would like to do so, it's a little bit disrupting to the flow of things. We'll save it for the end of the evening. Thank you. Speaking against ballot issue 300 is Greg Moran. Greg?
Good evening. My name is Greg Moran. I'm a development director with Confluent Development. One of the things that we are known for in this community is we developed Kipling Ridge at 38th and Kipling. We were also the beneficiary of a tax increment financing package on there. In addition to that, I have been in this business for 30 plus years. I've developed properties, and this is not to beat my drum, but I've been a part of properties over $350 million that required some form of tax increment financing in order to make them viable. Viable for the community, viable for the city, viable for the retailers. When we run into a problem with projects that have roadblocks, if you will, which are outdated community systems, sewer, sidewalks, roads, dilapidated buildings, it requires help from others to try and recreate your communities. It is truly a benefit for you to think about what it would take to redevelop these blighted properties, revitalize your communities by redeveloping those, and then generating the sales and corresponding property taxes, use taxes, personal property taxes that come with those new businesses that go into those projects. It also creates jobs within your community. Without the TIF, none of the projects that I've been a part of that were challenged, if you will, would have happened without it, and the corresponding benefits would not have joined those as well. I heard somebody say this once, and I've heard it many times, that this is a corporate slush fund. It's a developer slush fund. I don't know that my company investing $27 million on one corner and asking for some component to reinvest in your public infrastructure is a slush fund. I think it was a smart investment to take down a dilapidated shopping center that had people living inside of it and create what we all know to be a very nice project
with the Sprouts, a redeveloped Starbucks, senior housing, and yet some more retail to come. I can talk about stories all day long about the projects that I've done and the number of jobs that were created and the millions and millions of dollars that come to the cities. Now, I cannot make the rules for how the dollars are spent, but I can tell you that every project that I've been a part of, that we've never gone to the maximum term of any TIF agreement because we've created projects that have generated sales and or property taxes that exceeded the dollars invested in the very beginning. I think that there is something to take into consideration here, that when you vote for this, that you are telling the world that we are going to put a roadblock up and make things maybe a little more difficult. Are people going to do business in Wheat Ridge? Absolutely. Are developers going to come and do things? Absolutely. But when it comes to a difficult project and a client that you're looking to fill a need for them, you're going to follow the path of least resistance. And when retailers have X amount of dollars to spend on an annualized basis, they are going to go chase deals. They're going to be able to happen today in their lifetime and not something that's going to be dragged out and run through a special election that's only costing everybody dollars, developer, city, and you, the community. I would like to add that we had a very good experience here in Wheat Ridge. I think you should be proud of your city and your economic development group. We were transparent, they were transparent, and I can tell you that in the end, we're very proud of that project. I'm very proud of the other TIF projects I've done in the community. I'm a Denver native. I grew up here. I enjoy this community, and I want to see it thrive. Wheat Ridge needs to be careful. You're surrounded by other cities. You're landlocked. You don't have the ability to go out and build on unfettered property, if you will. You have a great community here, and you need to invest in that community, and the only way that happens is by allowing the right people to come in and do the job for you. Best of luck.
Thank you, Greg. We are now going to cover the State of Colorado Referred Measure Proposition BB, which would be keeping state revenue over the Tabor limits. We only have a proponent speaker. Despite our best efforts, we were not able to find a opposition speaker to this. So Thomas Slattery will be speaking, actually reading from the Blue Book that you will all receive in the mail before the November election. So speaking in proposition of this is Natalie Wood. Natalie?
Hi, everybody. My name is Natalie Wood. I'm a District 1 resident here in Wheat Ridge. I live there with my husband, who works at Lutheran, and my two small children, one of whom could not believe I was going to be on television tonight. So thank you to the United Neighbors for allowing me to look really cool in front of my 4-year-old. I'm here as a Wheat Ridge resident, but also because professionally and personally, I'm a policy wonk, and I'm here representing Vote Yes on BB. This November, Colorado voters are going to vote and weigh in on a statewide ballot measure, Prop BB. It's the only statewide ballot measure you'll be considering. Once again, the topic on the ballot is marijuana taxes, and voting yes on Prop BB will ensure that all of the retail marijuana taxes collected in the first year of legalization are used to directly benefit Colorado communities. If it seems like you've already voted on this issue, it's because you have. Voters overwhelmingly, by a 2-to-1 margin, approved taxing marijuana with Prop AA in 2013. But all of the revenues generated by these new taxes during their first full fiscal year of implementation are at risk. And this is because the Colorado Constitution has special rules for new taxes during their first year. And the Prop AA marijuana taxes ran into a problem due to economic projections that were included in the Blue Book, the same Blue Book that you probably just received in the mail this week, as I did, this in 2013. Because of this, Colorado may be required to refund all of those new marijuana taxes collected during that first year. And that's where Prop BB comes in. This is not a new tax. It is not a ballot question asking about a new tax. Proposition BB seeks voter approval for the state to retain these dollars and invest them in schools, communities, public safety, and public health. This is exactly what voters intended when they legalized marijuana and said that they wanted it taxed. This is also a one-time vote. In 2016 and beyond, the state will retain any retail marijuana tax revenue. I should also mention that this is a legislatively referred measure, and it passed with quite a bit of bipartisan support. Our own district representative and senator voted in favor of it. The governor has come out in support of it, so I don't see this as a partisan issue. It's a common sense issue. Voting yes on Prop BB will avoid the refund requirement and instead allocate the marijuana tax revenue to several deserving programs. If voters say yes, the BEST program, which is a public school construction program, will receive $40 million to invest in renovations, repairs, and new construction. Prop B will also allocate $12 million of this retail marijuana revenue toward programs designed to address the effects of marijuana legalization. This includes things like law enforcement, substance use disorder prevention and treatment, and youth mentoring programs. A no vote would refund the taxes to the marijuana industry and to taxpayers. This would result in about $22 million back to marijuana cultivators, $16 million for retail marijuana purchasers and a temporary sales tax next year, and about from $6 to $16 per taxpayer. Retail recreational marijuana taxes give Colorado the opportunity to support important programs on issues affected by legalization. Prop BB proposes to spend these funds in ways that people intended when they approved these taxes for the first time. So please vote yes on Prop BB. You can visit the website at voteyesonbb.org, and I'll stick around to answer questions after this portion is over. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Natalie. And now we will hear from Thomas Slattery reading from the Blue Book.
We do not have a speaker in opposition to Proposition BB. It is our policy in cases like this to read the arguments published by the Legislative Committee of the Colorado General Assembly, the Blue Book. It's currently being mailed to everyone in Wheat Ridge. When I read, there's only one argument published in the Blue Book, and when I read this argument, it is for voter information only. It does not represent a stand on the issue by Wheat Ridge United Neighborhoods. Please understand this. Also, Proposition BB will not affect the city of Wheat Ridge. It will not have to refund or retain any tax money as a result of Proposition BB. The argument against states, and I quote, Proposition BB is effectively a temporary tax increase. The measure eliminates the tax refund required by the Colorado Constitution. The state economy generated more revenue than forecast when Proposition AA passed, which could have been used to fund the programs identified in the measure. Taxpayers are being asked to give up the refund to pay for program expenditures that were not prioritized in the state budget. Now, we recommend that you read your Blue Book carefully because there are a lot of complexities to this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. The last issue that we are going to cover before the intermission is the Jefferson County Public Library ballot issue 1A, which is the mill levy increase. The proponent speaker is Debbie McCash.
Good evening. My name is Debbie Mikash, and I am a resident of Wheat Ridge. I'm here as a volunteer for, please vote for 1A for Jefferson County Public Libraries. When the recession hit our country, many organizations, many people had to make hard decisions, and Jefferson County Public Library was in that exact position. The library system had to cut hours that they were open for the patrons to come to the library. They had to cut the amount of money being spent on materials. They had to cut staff. They had to postpone taking care of taxpayer buildings, the library buildings. The economy has improved, but our budget has not necessarily, the library's budget has not necessarily improved. So The library system did their due diligence to find out what they should do. They talked to patrons, they took patron surveys, I'm sorry, I'm really nervous. Libraries, they talked to library patrons, they polled the community, they talked to stakeholders in the community, they surveyed patrons, and everyone said the library should go for an increase in funding. So the mill levy increase will increase your homeowners' property tax mill levy from 3.5 to 4.5 mills. An average house in Jefferson County, that would be an increase of $1.97 a month. I can't get a cup of coffee at Starbucks for that. I can't rent a DVD from Redbox for that. So it's very minimal. The last time the library had an increase in the mill levy was 29 years ago. And since that time, the residents in Jefferson County increased by 30%. So the library system is providing more services with less money to more people. When you vote yes on 1A, the library will be able to increase the hours that every facility is open. They will increase the amount of materials that are purchased for patrons' use. They will take care of maintenance issues for the taxpayers' buildings that have not been taken care of. They will refurbish buildings, and they will increase the technology that's available to our patrons. They will also add service to underserved areas in the county. Jefferson County Public Library ranks in the bottom of the quartile for key performance areas for comparable libraries in the country and in the state of Colorado. These areas are things like open hours to the public, access to materials, and technology. As a taxpayer, we deserve a library system that meets the needs of our community today and in the future. So I am asking you to support this amendment, this initiative, and please vote yes on 1A. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Debbie. And now in opposition, we have John Clark speaking.
It's okay, Debbie, I'm nervous too. I'd like to start by saying I am a huge supporter of the library. With 2 school-aged children, you can imagine we're at the library quite often. And when we hear they are struggling financially, we want to help. We want to help restore hours, update technology, repair facilities, all of it. And I would be the first one gladly vote for a property tax increase to help the library if we only had some kind of a guarantee. You see, we don't get to vote on how much the library gets. The 3 Jeffco commissioners set the mill, and they control the budget. So we can vote to increase our property taxes 1 mil, 5 mills, or even 10 mills, all in the hope that the commissioners will increase library funding and not use it to balance other budget shortfalls. But they don't have to give the library 1 more penny. It's been said, and it's true, that the last mill increase for the library was 29 years ago, 1986. I'm trying to remember how old I was. When it went from 1.5 mils to the current 3.5 mils. In those 29 years, the various Jeffco commissioners have funded the library at the 3.5 mils level a total of 3 times. 3 years out of 29 years, or roughly 10% of the time, the library gets its 3.5 mils. Why would we believe now that they would give them the 4.5 mils when 90% of the time they don't fund the library even at the 3.5 level? Where's this money going to go to? On August 17th, we heard, excuse me, right here in this chamber from Donna Walker, the Director of Public Services for the Jeffco Library, that we are optimistically hoping that we get an increase in funding if this passes, but also said there are no guarantees. The commissioners set our mill, and they have lots of competing interests. That's a quote. You can look it up. She also said the commissioners, will continue to have control over our mill and our budget. I have yet to hear from the commissioners on what they think or what they would do if 1A passed. No one from the library has mentioned any communication or discussion between them and the commissioners. Has anyone asked? Should we ask? I just saw 2 of them at the Jeffco Fair in August when I was there, and if I had known this was coming up, I would have asked. I'm not shy, and I think we have a right to know where they stand before we vote to raise our property taxes. So I encourage you to read this carefully and understand if you vote yes, you have voted to increase taxes, you've thrown the Tabor Amendment out the window, and quite possibly not added 1 penny to the library budget. You know we can do better than this. Don't raise your property tax with the hope that politicians are going to do the right thing, because history proves they don't. Vote no on 1A. We can do better for the Jefferson County Public Library. Vote no on 1A. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Now we are going to take a brief intermission for everyone here and watching at home. We will begin again at promptly 8:12. There are light refreshments in the lobby if you would like to join us. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Would you please take your seats, and could I get somebody to close the door? Thank you, officer. The second portion of the candidate forum is going to cover the Jefferson County School Board. First, we will hear from two candidates from District 3, which is an open seat. We will start with Kim Johnson. Kim?
Thank you. Good evening. I am Kim Johnson, and I'm a candidate for the open seat in District 3 of Jeffco School Board. I'm the mom of two Jeffco students, a 5th grade son and a 6th grade daughter who attend our local elementary school. My husband and I chose Jefferson County as our home for the great schools and family-friendly environment. I've dedicated the last 12 years to serving our community and our schools. And with my work on our School Accountability Committee, our PTSA Executive Board, in classrooms, and on district committees, I've seen the importance of the community as a partner in the education of Jeffco students. And running for Jeffco School Board is an extension of my commitment to our community. My professional background is in commercial property management, which offered me quite varied experiences. I've managed staff, large budgets, long-term capital planning, and helped small businesses become more successful. With an initial step toward an updated long-term facilities plan, Jeffco has set a course that we must continue to address current and projected student growth, as well as existing deficiencies in our facilities. Jeffco must also prioritize our relationships with municipalities, Jefferson County government, and local businesses to ensure that we are effectively partnering with all stakeholders. My parents are both public school teachers. Together, they have more than 80 years of service as teachers and volunteers. I know that they would agree with me that at the foundation of a successful school are teachers and staff who feel valued and respected. And we must give them the support that they need to reach the high standards we've set for them and Jeffco students. Our educators will be at their best when they have the flexibility to respond to the individual needs of their students and school community. And having the opportunity to find the right solution is critical for student achievement. Choice is an important component of education in Colorado. It rests in a parent's opportunity to find the school that is the best fit for their children, and it lies in the school's ability to be responsive to their community. Student-based budgeting increases responsiveness by allowing decisions to be moved from the central office to the school level and closer to the students. It will allow for an increase in transparency, greater community involvement, and improved flexibility, Each student's achievement is essential, and every decision we make must reflect this. I will combine my perspective as a parent, my passion for education, my success in business, and my community service to lead Jeffco schools. I am eager to serve Jeffco's students, educators, and community. I am Kim Johnson, candidate in District 3, and thank you for your support and vote.
Thank you, Kim. We have our timer back. So just to cover things, you'll have a green light, which is obviously go. You'll continue to speak. And when you have 30 seconds left, you'll have the amber light, and red means stop. And we'll give you the hook if you keep speaking over that. So now we will hear from the other candidate in the District 3 open seat, Allie Lassell. Allie?
Hi. I am Allie Lassell, and I am running for Jill Fellman's vacant seat, District 3. I've got a master's degree in curriculum and instruction and my principal's license, and I've taught middle school math and science for the past 25 years. Half that time in high poverty schools, and the other half of that time in high achieving schools. I've written science curriculum, science assessments, was a school data analyst, instructional team leader, curricular coach, and mentored many, many teachers. I coached girls and boys 7th and 8th grade basketball teams for several years. I'm also a mom. My two boys attend Maple Grove Elementary, where I have been an active PTA member and accountability member. In the past 18 months, I think, I have attended every school board meeting, and with each meeting, my concerns about the lack of transparency and accountability to all stakeholders grow. Many times, I've written to the board about my concerns, and even address them during their public comment period. When my own school community was threatened by a board majority motion, I stepped up. I educated my neighbors and worked with the other threatened school communities to form a team so we could protect what we hold dear. I am running for the Jeffco School Board because I believe that every student deserves a great education. Jeffco is an excellent school district, and I want to be a part of continuing this tradition of excellence. This election is very, very important to our students. This election will define public education, and not just in Colorado. My experiences in teaching, coaching, and mentoring uniquely qualify me to understand how to motivate and retain the best teachers and leaders in Jeffco. I understand how policies play out in the classroom. I believe to my core that all students can succeed. And I have demonstrated many times that I know how to get teachers, administrators, and families to work together in the best interest of the students. I want to be clear. I want to make sure you understand the difference between me and my opponent. I do not like how the current board majority treats its stakeholders, shuns their own governing policies, and fails to take financial transparency seriously. I promise to you that if and when I am sitting at the school board table, I will be respectful, collaborative, and discerning. This isn't about me. This isn't about our community. This is about our students. Thank you.
Sorry I didn't mention it, but we would like to keep clapping till the end. Sorry. Thank you, Allie. Now we are going to hear from candidates for the Jefferson County School Board in District 4, which is also an open seat. We will start with Tori Merritz.
I'm short. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tori Merritz. I am a veteran of the Jeffco School Board. I have already represented all of you for more than 9 years. I served on the board from August 1994 until November of 2003. I'm running because we have the possibility here in Jeffco to elect 5 new people who have 0 school board experience. I have the experience that Jeffco needs. Our school board elections are staggered for a reason. I also have new skin in the game. My 2 grandchildren will be graduating from a Jeffco high school in 2031 and 2034. Between now and then, all of our graduating seniors need to be college and career ready and be prepared for the twin forces that are so rapidly changing our world: globalization and emerging technologies. Our school district needs to be laser focused on continuous improvement. It needs to be innovative, strategic, and nimble while squeezing value out of every dollar. For more than 40 years here in Jeffco and statewide, I have served on countless boards of directors, task forces, and steering committees in leadership positions. And I have served with hundreds of different people, including 3 superintendents and 12 different board members. I have the experience that Jeffco needs, and I am prepared to work with whoever is elected in November. If you want someone who has proven leadership that has yielded results, you'll vote for me, Tori Merritz, District 4. Please visit my website, Tori Merritz, for jeffco.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Tori. Now we are going to move on to the recall. I'm so sorry. Sorry, my bad. We are going to move on to Amanda Stevens, who is a candidate for the District 4 open seat.
I'm Amanda Stevens, a candidate for the District 4 four-year term. I grew up in Lakewood. My parents still live in the home that they bought when I was 3 months old. I was a strong student in strong schools, go Bear Creek Bears. earning a National Merit Honorable Mention, but I became disconnected in high school during a time of family difficulty, and I left, and I earned my GED. After a bachelor's degree in theology, I was inspired to earn a Master of Education and become a teacher because I didn't want other students to slip through the cracks. I spent 8 years teaching in high poverty communities with beautiful, brilliant, worthy students, as all students are. Since leaving the classroom to be with my 2 children, I've found a lot of ways to advocate for what's best for students. Since school accountability chair for 4 years, a choice committee member and district accountability member, PTA volunteer, GED tutor, and a K-12 volunteer funding advocate. But no opportunity moves me like serving on our school board. I've attended many board meetings and I've offered constructive public comment focused on students' best interests. I know the issues, I love the data and the stories that illuminate the work our students need us to be doing. I know the celebrations and challenges of Jeffco today and how to move us forward. I'm ready to do the work of winning excellence, transparency, and cooperation for Jeffco's kids. Excellence in learning, strong academic foundations, plus essential work and life skills. Excellence in opportunities, from orchestra to athletics, field trips to job shadowing, so that all our students thrive in life as learners, earners, and citizens. And finally, excellence in relationships, a culture of care and connection for all Jeffco students and community members. This work will require transparency, which is the best way to be accountable to all Jeffco stakeholders, taxpayers and homeowners, employers and employees, and families like mine, because school board decisions affect us all. It will take cooperation, the purposeful listening and better thinking of healthy debate and compromise for children's sake. During my first year of teaching in high school in Chicago, I berated a student for playing with a Slinky in class when he should have been writing an essay. I sent him out of class after he refused to put it away or give it to me. He returned later with a counselor to apologize, and then he explained at her prompting that she gave it to him to get him through a tough day. He had lost his cousin that weekend to neighborhood violence. You see, my agenda was not the only one that mattered today. I failed to ask and purposefully listen, but now you can count on me to listen, learn, and honor input. Please vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. So in addition to the open school board seats, there is also a citizen initiative to recall 3 of the current sitting Jefferson County School Board members. So it's going to look a little bit different. We have 2 proponents that are speaking for that recall. Again, that is 2 proponents speaking for the recall of 3 sitting board members. Following their speeches, you will hear each individually from the 3 candidates who are up for a recall. So without further ado, we're going to hear for a total of 6 minutes between the 2 proponents. And the proponents are Tina Gerdikian, I hope I said that correctly, and Wendy McCord. So it's up to you. You have 6 minutes combined. I will not get in the middle of it. You have 6 minutes. You can trade off as you like. Please.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us this evening and giving us the opportunity to speak. My name is Tina Gerdikian, and Wendy and I are pleased to join you this evening to be able to share the reasons why we, along with thousands of other parents and community members like us, decided to pull recall petitions on Ken Witt, Julie Williams, and John Newkirk, who currently make up our school board majority. I'm a Jeffco parent. I've got 2 kids in Jeffco schools, one in elementary school and one in middle school. I began attending board meetings back in 2011, so long before the school board majority took office. After the board majority took office and began rapidly implementing their agenda and disrespecting staff, parents, and students, we saw several parent organized groups such as Support Jeffco Kids, Jeffco Exodus, Jeffco School Board Watch, Transparency Jeffco, emerge to educate our community about the board's inactions and actions. Once we felt confident that the community was informed and receptive to a recall, we hired professional campaign help to get us off the ground. When our parent groups got together, we all agreed there were 3 things that really bothered us about the way the board was governing things, the way they were conducting business as elected officials who were supposed to be representing us, a lack of accountability, transparency, and respect. So first, a lack of accountability. The board majority has wasted and continues to waste taxpayer money that has been entrusted to them by us, the voters. Instead of using the district's attorneys, one of their first moves was to hire their own attorney, which they hired without providing an opportunity for minority board members to interview the attorney. without a request for proposal process, and without development of a scope of work. The board attorney contract authorizes $7,500 per month for 30 hours or less of work plus fees. And for what? We don't know what they do. This is an example of an invoice that we received through a CORA request. As you can see, everything's been blacked out or redacted. We don't know what this board attorney is doing for the board with our taxpayer dollars. Additionally, they wasted money on a bogus nationwide superintendent search where they gave us one finalist who is a first-time superintendent and from Douglas County. They then hired him and paid this novice superintendent more money than the previous superintendent, who had 12 years of experience with the district and a PhD. They also hired a public relations firm, spending thousands of dollars for them to answer emails that were sent to the board that should have been answered by the secretary, John Newkirk. As parents, we believe these dollars can be better spent in the classroom. Contrary to what you'll hear from the board majority, our teachers only received an average 1% raise this past year, where neighboring districts like DPS offered 5.6% to their teachers. As a result of the lack of transparency, accountability, and respect, we saw 1,008 staff members leave our district last year. Totally unacceptable. This is double the number of teachers who leave Jeffco on average. We have elementary school classrooms with nearly 40 students in them. We're having to hire teachers from out of state to fill positions. We started the school year with 187 unfilled staff positions. Now's not the time to be mishandling taxpayer dollars, but the lack of accountability to the taxpayers isn't all we're concerned about.
Thank you, Tina. I'm Wendy McCord, and my 3 children attend Jeffco Public Schools. I agree with what Tina's already said, and she's talked about accountability, so I want to focus on transparency and respect. Transparency has been a problem with our school board majority since day one. Redacted invoices aren't the only issue with the board attorney. In December 2013, Brad Miller was hired by the board majority after they had agreed in secret to do so. That's a violation of the Sunshine Law. Folks in the Thompson School District learned that Miller represented Jeffco before our board even met to discuss his engagement. It was obvious to anyone who watched the meeting that the board majority colluded in advance to hire Miller. We've also seen the board majority severely limit public comment at meetings, sometimes to only 1 minute per speaker, with Ken Witt banging his gavel at parents and students, unless the comment is supportive of the board majority, in which case the rules no longer apply. Board majority members have gotten in trouble for failing to disclose documents that state law requires them to, so then they attempted to avoid the laws by using personal emails and text messages. In addition to this lack of transparency, our board majority doesn't show respect to others. A year ago, thousands of high school students walked out of classes to protest Julie Williams' proposal to censor AP US history. Her proposal came straight from failed Texas legislation. What made it even worse was that Mrs. Williams admitted that she never even read the guidelines of which she was so critical, and her allegations were untrue. Then she and Ken Witt claimed that the students who walked out were union pawns who were being manipulated by their teachers. Jeffco made national and international news with that incident, and Williams' behavior was and continues to be an embarrassment to our district. Of utmost concern, though, as Tina mentioned, is the rampant turnover of our teachers and staff since this board majority has taken over. Witt, Newkirk, and Williams have repeatedly shown their contempt for our hardworking educators. The result, over 1,000 employees left Jeffco this year. Turnover like this affects our children and will ultimately impact their academic achievement, yet this board majority is not even remotely concerned. As parents, we were so concerned that 1,200 of us got together this summer, and in just over 2 weeks, we collected more than twice the signatures required to put this recall issue on the November ballot. We continue to walk and educate voters about what's going on in Jeffco schools, and we find tremendous support. This is about our children, not politics. In fact, we need to get politics out of the school board and return the focus to our students. We hope you'll help us restore accountability, transparency, and respect to the Jeffco School Board and vote yes on the 3 recalls on the November ballot. And you can check out jeffcounitedforaction.org for more information. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now that we've heard from the proponents of the initiative to recall the 3 sitting board members, we will hear from those 3 board members individually. They each have 3 minutes to speak. The first of those 3 is Julie Williams. Julie?
So hi, my name is Julie Williams. I'm a Colorado native. I was raised right here in Jefferson County. I'm a high school graduate of Arvada High School, and I married my high school sweetheart, and we've been together over 30 years. Together, we have 2 children. It's one of my highest honors as being a mom. My oldest child is over here. He is a senior at Stanley Lake High School, and he's a child with special needs. My other son, my younger son, is a gifted child, and he also goes to our neighborhood school, Jefferson Academy Charter School. So having children at both ends of the spectrum, and myself being a typical student, I think I represent the full gamut of the children at Jeffco. Having children at both ends of the spectrum gives me a really good perspective that children are all very unique and they have different needs. I believe that every child has something special about them that needs to be unlocked so that they can reach their full potential. And that's why I voted to expand choice in Jefferson County. I believe that all of our children are valuable and they deserve equal opportunity. And that's why I voted for all of our students in Jeffco to receive equal funding. Because our children shouldn't be penalized because they have different learning styles. And how about after 40 years, through a collaborative process, the JCEA and the district unanimously rewrote our entire teacher contract, and we had a unanimous vote from the board to pass that contract. So now it complements the 21st vision of education instead of the old 40 years of status quo. I believe in supporting our wonderful teachers. In fact, I just came from teacher conferences, and my son has some fabulous teachers. And I'm excited that we were able to allocate $21 million in teacher raises and $34 million in teacher compensation through a performance plan because every student deserves a great teacher. I believe in school-level autonomy where community members and teachers and principals have a voice and can choose where they direct their dollars to students that need it the most. I'm also excited that we are building a brand new school in the high growth area with cash. We're not raising taxes behind your backs. And to top it all off, we have been very fiscally responsible because we receive flying colors from the Colorado State Audit. So with this, I thank you all, and I ask you all to vote no on the recall.
Thank you, Julie. The second of the 3 sitting board candidates who will speak on their behalf to retain their seats would be John Newkirk. John?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John Newkirk from the Jefferson County Board of Education. 2 years ago, I and my colleagues, Ms. Williams and Mr. Witt, were elected by the people of this district to represent your interests on the Board of Education and to address some of the challenges facing public education today. As a lifelong resident of this district, a proud graduate of its public schools, and the father of 3 young daughters, I have a personal stake in seeing Jefferson County schools succeed. I was elected on a platform that included accountability, choice, transparency, and student safety. Now, 2 years later, we've made significant progress in this regard. And if we can look beyond the rhetoric and the misinformation, I think you'll agree the facts speak for themselves. For example, over the past few years, we've increased teacher compensation by $21 million. We're building a new school without incurring debt. We've empowered local principals, ensured all students are funded equally, and openly worked with the union to rewrite a contract that's better able to reward great teachers. And we did all of this while adding money to district reserves. We've also taken bold steps to tackle long-neglected issues, such as the community-led initiatives in the struggling Jefferson and Alameda areas. We've made free full-day kindergarten available to all low-income families. We've targeted underachievement, established goals for gifted students, revitalized our building trades program, addressed over-testing and data privacy, and enhanced student safety. Graduation rates are up, dropout rates are down, and after over a decade of declining enrollment, our student population is growing again. And our teacher turnover is 12% below the state average. By almost anyone's definition, this is what's called progress. And yet today, a group ironically calling itself progressive is asking you to halt this progress, to abort this mission, and return to the status quo through an untimely, expensive, and politically motivated recall election. All Jeffco citizens deserve a voice at the board table. And as Ms. Merritt stated, the opposition is now asking you to approve a 5-0 slate of union-backed candidates with no experience in policy governance. This is not appropriate and by no means reflects the diverse voices within our community. As I reflect upon my experience attending the Jeffco schools and watch my children grow up here, it's also clear that it's not appropriate to embroil our children in partisan politics. When it comes to improving our children's education, there is no left, there is no right. There is only forward or backward. So vote no on this recall election, and let's keep moving forward. Vote no, and let's allow the electoral process to proceed as intended. Vote no, and let's ensure a bright future for all Jeffco children. I'm John Newkirk. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you, John. And then for the third of the three sitting board members, school board members who are up for recall, we'll hear from Ken Witt. Ken?
Thank you. I'm Ken Witt. I have a wonderful wife of 31 years, 4 great kids, all of whom have graduated from public schools. I was honored to be able to hand my youngest daughter her diploma this last year at Columbine's graduation. I serve as president of the Jeffco Board of Education because I care deeply and passionately about public education. I welcome this dialogue about the great things that have been accomplished in Jeffco Public Education in the past 2 years. We set aside $18 million to build a new neighborhood school in the Northwest Corridor without incurring any new debt. We've empowered our schools with better local control by increasing budgets and giving greater budget control through the student-based budgeting process. We've increased teacher compensation by over $21 million, with some of our newest underpaid teachers actually receiving over 15% in increased take-home pay. We have increased transparency by being the first board to internet stream all public meetings, and by insisting that negotiations be open before a law required it. And we have equitably funded all students across all Jeffco public schools, correcting a long-standing unfair distribution of funds that deprives some public school students of more than $1,000 per year for their education. And we have done all of this while adding to reserves and reducing central administration costs. I'm proud to have led these common sense reforms, despite resistance from those who would rather maintain an old status quo. Because our majority stood strong, Jeffco teachers have the flexibility in the new union agreement to better operate in the best interest of our children's education. Our new pay model has accountability, allowing us to recognize and reward great teachers while better ensuring an effective teacher in every classroom. My fellow board majority members and I have focused on improving student achievement and closing the achievement gap with the community-led Alameda and Jefferson plans. We're giving our highest risk populations a better chance to succeed in school. As a college graduate who continues studies into adult life, I believe lifelong learning is key to success. I continue to learn and grow on this board, yet my support stands as strong as ever for directing more money to our classrooms, raising the bar for staff and students, and giving families quality options. My driving focus is to propel more Jeffco students to successful futures. Let's keep moving forward. Vote no on the recall. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. You've just heard from Julie Williams, John Newkirk, and Ken Witt. They are 3 sitting Jeffco board members, and now we will hear from the successor candidates if the recall were to pass. So whether you do or do not vote for or against the recall of one or more of the 3 incumbent school board members, you may vote for a possible successor candidate in each of the 3 districts. So first we will hear from District 1 candidate Brad Rupert. Brad?
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Brad Rupert. I'm a Colorado native. I'm an attorney in Arvada. I'm a former president of the Arvada Chamber of Commerce. I was a 4-year president of the Arvada Community Food Bank, which during my tenure extended its boundaries to serve all of Wheat Ridge as well. We serve a number of the schools here in Wheat Ridge in our backpack programs, and we have a number of schools here in Wheat Ridge that are challenged by poverty. It's one of those populations, frankly, that's being ill-served by the current majority. The most concerning issue in the current situation is the loss of teachers. We are losing extraordinary teachers to other districts because, as you heard, other districts are simply being more competitive in their pay scales. The majority has told you this evening that they've provided a $21 million increase in the contract. That is a big number. But when you spread it across the teachers, it amounts to a 1% increase in their pay, following another year of 1% increase, and then several years of freezes and a 3% decrease in pay. In fact, the pay is lower than what it would have been prior to the recession. So $21,000 is a big number, but it comes nowhere close to getting our teachers back to where they ought to be and nowhere close to keeping it competitive with the other districts in the region. You have to remember, teachers, regardless of associations and unions, teachers are participating in a market. And if there are other competitors in the market, that is to say other school districts, paying a good deal more, you should count on losing the people to those other districts. Another puzzle to me is the majority's touting its decision to build a school in one of the growing areas of northwestern Jeffco. It's extraordinary because the initial motion by Ms. Williams was actually to build a school that was going to cost $3 to $4 million more than the school that was passed. And it was a school that's going to would have accommodated 200 students fewer than the school that was finally decided on by the board. The school at Candelas was actually a proposal by Ms. Feldman, who is stepping off of the board. It's also a puzzle to me that the current majority says that they're more transparent. Yes, they are streaming the meetings, but what good does it do to stream the meetings if the decisions were made before you got there? If the issues on the agenda are not the agenda that's being published. For those reasons, I think we need to discard the current board majority and get the school board back on track. Thank you for your consideration.
The District 2 successor candidate, Matthew DeYa, could not be here, so Paula Noonan will be speaking on his behalf. Paula?
So right now I have Matt's thing on. Later I'll put my on. Okay. Matt DeYa is running as a successor candidate to John Newkirk in District 2. Is that better? He is unable to attend tonight due to a family emergency, but Matt is a serious candidate who's thought long and hard about the dysfunction that's sinking the district. He knows that the district cannot possibly do well with the board moving policy in one direction and employees and many citizens resisting. He understands that the district has lost its swing, or the synchronous movement of all oars rowing in the same direction with power that comes from common understanding and shared focus. Matt is not part of any slate. He stands on his own 2 feet and is willing to work with everyone and anyone. He does not see the work of the school board as political or ideological. Rather, he believes that teaching reading, writing, and math requires an environment in which teachers feel respected, are given opportunities to grow in their profession, and can collaborate to bring best teaching practices to each child. He believes that our facilities must be safe and able to deliver 21st century technology in all classrooms. He believes that all children deserve individual attention so they have genuine opportunities to learn and succeed. He believes that the district can move beyond discord and disruption if independent, honest, deep listening board members are elected and come together to do what's best for kids. Remember, Matt Dieu, independent candidate for District 2.
Thank you, Paula, for speaking for Matthew Dieu. Now we will move on to, well, actually, our other District 2 successor candidate, Susan Harmon, could not be here this evening either. So we will move on to, the District 5 successor candidates, starting with Reagan Benson.
Hello, my name is Regan Benson, and I am successor candidate for Jeffco School Board District 5. My husband and I of 24 years have 3 sons and 2 grandsons. It is my experience as a parent in the Jeffco school system and my concern for my grandson's future education in public school that has led me to enter this race. To the best of my knowledge, I am the first school board candidate in Jeffco to stand before you having experienced failure as a parent in this school district. For the last 17 years, I've come to realize that there is an ever-increasing number of kids in this district that are not learning, not succeeding, and even worse. That led me to pursue advocacy for those children and their families. I've been involved in everything from individual and systems advocacy to working with both Democrat and Republican state legislators to end the practice of sending kids to jail for truancy. I also work part-time assisting people with disabilities in receiving their accommodations in court proceedings. It's long overdue. We need to start talking more about the kids. Let's support and celebrate what is working for kids and families experiencing success in this school district, and at the same time, we also need to be having honest discussions about what is not working for kids and families in Jeffco. Ineffective programs and services for special education, decreased student engagement, truancy, and criminalization for what should be matters of school discipline are just some of the challenges Jeffco students are facing every day, but are not being talked about. I want Jeffco to get to a place where all means all and one size fits one, that they aren't just sayings, but a reality. I support choice and I respect parents in making the educational decisions that are best for their children. I am a fiscal conservative. I have spent years studying Jeffco's budget, spending habits, and expenditure overruns. It's always amazed me how much money flows through this district that has zero impact on a child's education. I want to change that. With so many competing financial needs in Jeffco, we have to pick the budget apart and eliminate wasteful spending like never before. Jeffco residents and families have to know before we ever ask them to tighten their belts and sacrifice for us that the district has already done so for them. I've been asked a lot recently if I've changed my position on the recall. The answer is no. I have and still remain steadfastly opposed to the recall. All I ask is that you vote no on the recall and also check the box next to my name on the ballot. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Reagan. Now we will hear from the 2nd District 5 successor candidate, Ron Mitchell.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name is Ron Mitchell. I'm a recall candidate in District 5, which means I am running for Ken Witt's seat. I am a lifetime Jeffco resident. I grew up here. I graduated from Arvada High School. I came back and worked for more than 35 years in Jeffco schools. I was a teacher and assistant principal. I served as the principal at Alameda High School for 10 years and a principal at Columbine for 8 years and retired as a community superintendent in the central office. After retiring, I worked several more years doing fill-in positions, conflict management, and consulting with about a dozen schools from the north end of the district to the south end of the district. And I share that with you because I believe it gives me an excellent understanding of the variety of communities that exist in Jeffco and the very diverse needs of those communities and their students. Sometimes, as we've been going through this campaign process, all of the candidates are on a stage together. We're doing a forum. And sometimes I think the recall candidates and the Board of Education majority right now seems to indicate that they're campaigning against us. That is part true. In a way, they are campaigning against the recall candidates. However, in a more important way, they are campaigning against their record of the last 2 years. That is what the recall is all about. It's everything that's happened these past 2 years. The current board majority was elected with big out-of-state money, and big out-of-state money generally comes with an agenda. That agenda is undisclosed, has never been disclosed, but it carries itself out every day in our boardroom. Jeffco has experienced unprecedented teacher and administrator losses in the last 2 years. 1,000 quality people have left Jeffco. That is unacceptable. They are going to Cherry Creek, Littleton, Denver, Adams 12, and Boulder Valley, and we are losing the very foundation of our school, which is quality people. We are in the people business. This board claims to support the Teachers Association. They claim to support teachers, but the teachers do not feel that in any way. Parents and students and employees have been treated with disrespect in our boardroom. That is unacceptable to me, and we will change that. I will move Jefferson County forward in a positive direction. I will put respect back in the boardroom. I will put common sense back in the boardroom and serve the needs of 86,000 students in this district. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. And now we will hear from our last candidate speaker of the evening. Also running for the District 5 successor candidate spot is Paula Noonan, speaking on her own behalf this time.
Hello, I'm Paula Noonan, running as a successor candidate for Ken Witt's seat in District 5. I served on the school board from 2009 to 2013 and have volunteered as District Accountability Chair and leader of the bond campaign that built Dakota Ridge High School and Summit Ridge Middle School and allowed many capital improvements across the district. I see today a district that's in distress. Jeffco is broken in half, with 2 slates representing each half. The 3 recall board members have lost the support of district employees and citizens in the county who oppose their direction. These employees and citizens are responding to decisions imposed from above rather than change that comes with understanding and motivation. Yet how can the pro-recall slate be perceived any differently if they are elected? They will be seen as usurpers by half the citizens of the district. I'm running to oppose slates and bring robust, independent, common sense, full listening leadership to board and the district. First, I will renegotiate the current performance evaluation and pay contract to substantially reduce the impact of the state's standardized testing program on performance evaluation and compensation. Second, I will work to increase education choices at the traditional neighborhood school and comprehensive high school levels. We need language immersion, STEM, arts, and career readiness programs to meet 21st education standards. Third, the district cannot rely on operations funds and certificates of participation to manage its construction and reconstruction needs. These are at best itsy-bitsy solutions to very large problems. The board needs to study the full dimensions of its capital needs and make its case to the public before interest rates rise prohibitively high. If you think my efforts to move the district away from its current mad conflicts and towards reasonable solutions to complicated problems have merit, then I hope I have earned your vote. Please vote for Paula Noonan, District 5. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula, and thank you to all of the candidates and speakers we've heard from this evening. This concludes the Wheat Ridge Election Forum for 2015. I have a few people to thank. First off, I want to remind everybody this was broadcast live, obviously live for those of you here, live for those watching at home on the Government Access Channel 8. It is also then edited and rebroadcast on Government Access Channel 8 repeatedly all the way up until Election Day. So for that, I want to thank the City of Wheat Ridge for allowing us to use these council chambers and for the use of their video and audio equipment to produce that show. I think it is a fantastic benefit to Wheat Ridge voters. I also have to thank somebody that's always invisible for this event, and that is the person that sits behind the wall behind me. His name is Matthew, and he's running all the equipment. You don't get to see him, but we're glad he's there. So also thanks to the Wheat Ridge United Neighborhoods, their members, for conducting this and getting this all arranged. Perhaps a pat on the back to everybody. We plan to stop at 2 minutes of 9, and it is 2 minutes of 9. Pretty good. So with that, I've got a couple things to say about the election. So the election is November 3rd. This is, as all of them are now, a all-mail ballot election. So if you are registered to vote, you will receive your ballot in the mail, regardless of whether you selected to be a permanent mail-in ballot receiver. I didn't just say that. Voter. Thank you. And different things as well. You can register and vote right up to Election Day now. However, if you are not registered to vote and you would like to receive the mail ballot at your home or your residence where you want it delivered, you must get registered and have it delivered to the Jefferson County Clerk's office by October 27th, close of business. So if you need any other further information about the election, you can always visit votejeffco.com, a very helpful website to help you get the information you need to participate. Let's see if there's anything else. I think the mail ballots, from what I understand, will be first mailed out. The first of them will be sent to the post office on October 12. So anytime after that, you may start receiving your mail ballots. Again, we're very glad to have you all here, and we're very grateful for all of our candidates to take the time to speak tonight. And thank you all. Good night.